Hello everyone, I am Aksa Ellen from the Department of Management Studies, MA HRM.
The topic that we are going to discuss today is interpersonal awareness. Before we go into the topic, we'll see what are all the subtopics that we're going to discuss. Uh, it is the meaning of interpersonal behavior, the need for interpersonal awareness, and also the tools used for increasing or developing interpersonal awareness. So before we understand what is interpersonal awareness and why should one be interpersonally aware, of themselves as well as the people whom they are interacting with, we need to know another simple concept, just nothing but interpersonal behavior. So, interpersonal behavior is the behavior and actions that are present in human relationships. So, it is something that people generally exhibit, in any relationship. So, it could be the way they communicate, and it could be their verbal communication, non-verbal cues like facial expressions, body language. It could be anything of that sort. Okay, so that's what is called as interpersonal behavior. uh, why we need to understand interpersonal behavior is only when we are interpersonally aware, as in I am aware of what I am capable of or how I respond to situation. Also only when I am able to understand how my colleague or my subordinate or my superior responds or behaves, that will only help build interpersonal relationships. Interpersonal relationships are very important when it comes to a work environment, working with people and groups and teams. No, interpersonal relationships play a very important role. So understanding what is interpersonal behavior is important. So moving on, we will see the need. Okay, why do we need to be interpersonally aware? Okay, so like we discussed, no, interpersonal behavior is about communication, how we communicate. So when the level of awareness is compatible, people are really aware of each other, then the communication is very smooth and effortless. There is no friction in the communication, so there is a good interpersonal relationship. Okay, uh, supposing two people working together, they're not quite aware of each other, then there is a lot of friction in the communication. So the awareness gap, that's what causes the friction. So it is very important, okay, for good interpersonal relations and also to build teamwork in organizations. So now that we know the need for interpersonal awareness, we will discuss two important tools which will help develop this interpersonal awareness. Okay, so the first one is Johari Window, second one is transactional analysis. Okay, so we'll do them one by one. So first one, Johari Window. So Johari Window was developed, okay, this concept was developed by Joseph Luft and Harry Ingram. So the term Johari, it was coined from the first names of these two people, Joseph and Harry. That's why it's called as the Johari Window. So it is a model which describes the process of human interaction. So that's what this window itself explains. If you see this diagram, you'll be able to understand it better. So it's a four-paned window, and the lines which are dividing these four panes, no, they are only called as the window shades. Okay, so they can move as interaction progresses between individuals. Okay, so the each window pane can be adjusted basically. So there are four window panes. The first one is the open self, which is known to self and known to others. The second one is the blind self, which is unknown to self and known to others. Third one is hidden self, which is known to self and unknown to others. And the last one is the unknown self, which is information that is not known to self and also not known to others as well. So we'll see what each of these areas mean. First one, open self. So it is called as the free area or the public area. Okay, so an individual's aim should be to develop this area, because when we work with people we know, okay, it will develop effective and productive relationships and behaviors in a work environment. like we discussed already, the open self is something that is known to self also to people. So it is behaviors, your reactions and your characteristics that are known to yourself, also to people whom you're working with. So when we work with people, we know it makes it very easy, to understand them and communicate with them and everything. So every individual should focus on developing this area. And the next one is the blind self. So like the term says, no, it's also called as the blind area or the blind spot. Okay, so thick skinned people generally exhibit this kind of behavior. Most of them, they have a very large blind spot basically. So it is not really effective and productive, okay, for individuals or groups to work among each other when they have a very large blind area. Because when people don't know what they themselves are capable of, or how they respond to situations, then it might come across as rude when someone else corrects us, or when they say that, hey, why are you reacting like this, because we are self not aware that we are capable of something like that. So the aim should be to reduce this area. Okay, so how do we do that? Through proper feedback, okay, from your subordinates or your superiors or from your peers. So through feedback, this area can be reduced. And the next one is the hidden self. Okay, so this is an area that is known to self but unknown to others. So these are things that people don't know about you. So it is also called as the avoided self or the facade. Okay, so this area might include your sensitivities, fears, hidden agendas, manipulative intentions, or any other secrets that an individual has. Okay, so this reducing this area will actually help reduce all the potential for apprehension or confusion or any misunderstandings that might generally occur in work relationships. Okay, so yes, it is okay to maintain some things as secretive, but when it comes to work, all the hidden agendas and other intentions can be reduced, so that unnecessary confusion and misunderstandings can be avoided, and it can help build relationship. And the last one is the unknown self. Okay, so it is also called as the area of unknown activity, because this is an area that is not known to the person themselves nor to the people around them. So it is unknown to self and unknown to others. So it could be a person's feelings or behaviors or attitudes, capabilities, or their aptitude. It could be anything. Okay, so generally young people or people who lack experience or self belief, no, they will only have a larger unknown area, because they don't have the required experience to explore more. They have not seen a lot of things in life, and that's why the unknown area is quite large. So young people generally have a larger unknown area as compared to old people, because they've seen a lot of things through experience, and as years progress, they would have explored much about their potential and their capabilities and all of that. So it is very important that people continue working on this area and work on shrinking this area, because the more we explore here, the more interpersonally aware a person becomes. Okay, so this Johari window, it helps us analyze, okay, where we stand, okay, which area is more in a person's life, and based on that they can evaluate and try to increase certain areas if they want to, or decrease certain areas if they want to, and thereby develop interpersonal relationships through increasing interpersonal awareness. So this is the first method. We'll move on to the next method, which is transactional analysis. Transactional analysis, it was developed by Eric Berne, and it was popularized by Thomas Harris. So these two people, they mentioned this concept in their book when they were talking about transactions that people generally have among each other. Okay, so transaction analysis is nothing but analyzing the transactions between two or more peoples. Okay, people, or people groups, or it could be anything. It's just analyzing the transaction. So the transaction could be in any form, it could be any transaction itself. Okay, so just analyzing the transaction, that will help understand each other better, and thereby increase interpersonal awareness and help build work relationships. Okay, so there are 5 methods that can be used to actually analyze transactions. So we'll have a look at them one by one. So they are the ego states, transactions, stroking, life scripts, and life positions. Okay, so the first one is the ego state. Okay, so the ego state, it just does a correlation between the pattern of feelings and the corresponding behavior. Okay, so a consistent pattern of feeling and experience directly related to a corresponding consistent pattern of behavior. So I feel something, and the way I show it, way I respond or react because of what I feel is what is called as my behavior. So a relationship between that is what is explained by these ego states. Okay, so we'll see what are all the ego states. So there are three states: the child ego state, the adult ego state, and the parent ego state. So the child ego state, it occurs when a person is thinking and feeling like a child. Okay, so they exhibit childlike behavior. Okay, more immature and more dependent and helpless, being stubborn and rebellious. So things like that, exhibiting characteristics like that. So that is marked by the child ego state. And the adult ego state is more realistic, balanced, and logical way of looking at things, logical way of interacting with people. Okay, so it is the desirable, it's the most desirable ego state in people or when it comes to a work environment. And the last one is the parent ego state. Okay, so it is more controlling and an authoritative kind of a relationship. Okay, so it might be well meaning, but often it comes across as rude or critical. So we will understand these three ego states with the help of one similar situation, how each ego state will respond to the same situation. That's what we're going to see. So the first one is the child ego. So we have a situation where the manager is asking his subordinate, today we have to submit the report, can we? So the subordinate replies, you know better. So here we see how the person, the subordinate, is exhibiting a child ego state, complete dependency on the manager. You take the decision because you are the boss. And the next one, if you see the same situation, the manager asks, today we have to submit the report, can we? So the subordinate replies, we can. The typing is also finished. So it's more responsible and a logical explanation given by the subordinate, which shows the adult ego state. And again the same situation, today we have to submit the report, can we? So the subordinate replies, we should. Even if you do not have the time, I will finish it. So it is like more controlling, where the subordinate takes up the role and says, even if you are not available, I can take care of that. So something like that. Okay, that's what's the parent ego state, more controlling. Okay, so this is about the ego states, and analyzing, okay, what kind of ego state a person is exhibiting. Based on that, they can understand what type of person they are, what kind of behavior that they are expressing and all of that. Okay, so that's the first one. Moving on, we'll go to the next one, which is transactions. So there are three common transactions that people generally show. First one is the complementary transaction, second one is the cross transaction, and third one is the ulterior transaction. So we'll see what is what. Complementary transaction. So when a message is sent, or like meaning communicated by one person's ego state, and it receives the appropriate and expected response from another person's ego state, then we call it a complementary transaction. Okay, so it is conflict free, there is no conflict here. I am sending a message intending to receive a response from an adult ego state, and I receive only that, then it is a complementary transaction. Message is sent from an adult to an adult, and the response is received from an adult to an adult, then it is a complementary transaction. No clash, no conflict. The next one is the cross transaction. So the message sent or the behavior exhibited, okay, it could be anything. Okay, some communication is being done by one person's ego state. It is reacted to by an unexpected ego state. So let's say the message is sent from an adult to an adult, but the response is received from a parent to a child ego state. Okay, so when there is a cross of the ego state that is happening, you are sending a message intending to receive a response from an adult only, but the response that you get is from a parent toward a child. Okay, so that's why it's called as a cross transaction. It is something that is unexpected. And the last one is ulterior. So this ulterior transaction, it involves two ego states exhibited by one person itself. Okay, so the individual, when they are communicating something, they might say one thing, but they might mean quite something else. Okay, that's what it means. Okay, so let's take the example of a branch manager. The manager says to his subordinate, if you have any doubts with this balance sheet, you can come to me. Okay, so that's what the manager says. So this is a message that is sent from a parent to a child. But what the manager really intended when he said that was, you take care of your problems and I will take care of my problems. So the message that was sent was from a parent to a child, but what the manager intended was from an adult to an adult. Both are adults here. Let's take care of our own problems or the tasks that we have at hand. That's what is an ulterior transaction. You say one thing, but you mean something else. Okay, so that's why when there are two ego states that are exhibited by one person itself, that's what is called as an ulterior transaction. Okay, so with this, the transactions part is over. We'll move on to the third type of transaction analysis that could be done, which is stroking. Stroking is nothing but recognizing the presence of others. Okay, so it just acknowledging what a person has done. Okay, it's like an implying recognition of another's presence, just acknowledging that the person is there, or they have done something good or bad or whatever it might be. Okay, a stroke could be negative or positive or sarcastic, or it could be even a mixed stroke. Okay, so supposing your teammate did well in something and you say good job, well done, you did good, so that's an example of a positive stroke. Okay, so that's the example that's given here. It could be anything. If a person did something unexpected or not very pleasant, then you could say something like, I did not expect this of you. That is also an example of a stroke. It is a negative stroke. Okay, so stroking is just recognizing one's presence. Okay, so that is also a way of communication. So through this, the other person will know what the other person is thinking. So it really helps. Stroking really helps understand each other, and thereby develop or build interpersonal relationships. And the next one is life script. Okay, so like the word says, no, a life script, no, it is the script that people have about their own lives. Okay, so everybody, okay, every individual lives by their own scripts. Okay, so usually these scripts are selected in the childhood itself, because as a child, our parents or people whom we closely move around with, they have a lot of impact in our life. So what they say, that becomes the mantra for our life, or the model of our life, and all of that. For example, a parent telling a child that he or she will become successful or famous one day, the child holds on to that, and that child kind of grows up believing that he or she will become famous one day, and every decision that the child takes as the child grows up will be in accordance with that, because they're working towards becoming successful and famous one day. So that's what is called as a life script. So understanding a person's life script will talk a lot about that person and help understand that person itself. That will also help improve interpersonal relationships. So moving on, we come to the last one, which is life position. So there are two positions that all individuals generally stay in. It is either they are okay or they are not okay. So a combination of these two positions can result in four possible life positions. Okay, so when it comes to interaction with people, okay, work relationships or any kind of relationship. Okay, so the first one is I am okay and you're okay. So it's called as the healthy position, because both of them have worked a way around each other, and they're able to make good progress as a team. They're able to work with each other. Both of them are okay with each other. So that's what is the I am okay, you are okay position. The next one is I am okay, you are not okay. So this is where one person is able to work with the other person and everything goes along with them, but the other person is finding it a little hard. So the other person can help. Okay, so the person who's okay in that relationship can help, and they can kind of build that relationship. That's I am okay, you are not okay. It's also called as the one up question, because when you are in that place and you are okay with that person and working with them, you can help them overcome that. And the other one is I am not okay, you are okay. So this is a question where you are not okay with your colleague or the way they respond to things and the way they are working, but they are okay working with you. So one person's style has fitted in, the other person's hasn't. So learning it from the person who's able to do it, and kind of building that relationship, that's called as the one down question, where you learn it from your colleague who is able to do it. So that is the I am not okay, you are okay question. And the last one is I am not okay, you are not okay. So neither of them are okay with working each other. So it's called as the hopeless person, because they're finding it very hard to work together and function as a team and all of that. Okay, so there's a lot of things that have to be addressed before this whole thing is sorted out, and a good interpersonal relationship is developed. So this is the last one. So understanding the position that you are in when it comes to interpersonal relationships itself, okay, where you stand as work partners or teammates or colleagues, understanding your life position will also help increase interpersonal awareness and take corrective actions, so that working with each other becomes a very good experience. Okay, so with this we come to the end of our topic. So like discussed, no, interpersonal awareness is very important, and uh, you know uh, it only says if a communication is effective or not. So when we are more aware of each other, it makes it easier to work with each other in a better and more effective and productive way. So interpersonal relationships are directly related with interpersonal awareness. The more interpersonally aware you are, the more better interpersonal relationships will be when it comes to a work environment, to be more specific. So I hope this was very useful. Thank you.